So let's break down the Caravan news with CEO of Nexus Services, the company funding the law firm representing the Migrant Caravan, Mike Donovan, and former Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence, retired Army Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin. Great to have both of you with us tonight.
Great to be here.
Okay, so we have this video that we want to show. This is some migrants scaling a wall and arriving in San Diego. This is what Fox 5 there in San Diego is reporting. They say people on the Mexican side of the border could be seen climbing the fence near Borderfield State Park Tuesday afternoon after part of the Central American Migrant Caravan arrived in Tijuana. Several people scaled the fence. You can see them there sitting on top of it. A few jumped or crawled to openings in the fence onto U.S. soil. Mike, we were told they're not going to be here for a while, and this is not a legitimate thing.
Well, the caravan is absolutely a legitimate thing, and it's appropriate for us to all pay attention to it. We've had investigators embedded in the caravan, so I understand that this group that broke off is a large, several dozen members are LGBTQ, escaping persecution in their home countries. LGBTQ folks in Central America have a hard time because police oftentimes are also gang members. The gangs are very anti-LGBTQ. So this is we know thousands of people have been granted asylum in the United States because of LGBTQ-related persecution. So we know this is legitimate. Now, these folks come to the border. They don't know what to do in many cases, but they are making themselves known, and I think we should appreciate that. I mean, they're not crawling across and hiding. They're making themselves known, and they're trying to effectuate a process that this president and this administration has made very difficult by saying you have to go to very specific places. Migrants coming don't know where to go. It's a very confusing thing, and when you add them to the mix, putting thousands of troops on the border, militarizing our southern border, it's an incredibly dangerous thing. Well,
and just, so we're clear, they cannot take on a law enforcement activity at all. All they can do is work in a support capacity. Now, part of this lawsuit that you all are supporting, this is from some Honduran migrants and representing their children as well who are on the way here. You say this, or the lawsuit says this: Trump's professed and enacted policy towards thousands of caravanners seeking asylum in the United States is shockingly unconstitutional. President Trump continues to abuse the law, including constitutional rights, to deter Central Americans from exercising their lawful right to seek asylum in the United States. General.
Well, first of all, there's a lot of things wrong with this.
With the lawsuit, with the claims?
No, not with the lawsuit. I don't even, I'm not a lawyer. I can't answer that. But what I can tell you is, as a grandfather of 6, how do I, as a grandfather, teach my grandchildren to respect our laws, to respect our law enforcement when we have a spectacle like this of people taunting our law enforcement on the border and flaunting the fact that they're breaking our laws? How do I, and I understand this whole thing is an issue of compassion. But let me tell you, Monday was Veterans Day. How about a misplaced compassion that ought to be placed on these veterans that have served this nation so honorably and that can't get a colonoscopy at a VA hospital because of a substandard medical care? That should require some attention and compassion by the same people that are out here advocating to let these people into our country and break our laws.
Are you saying that it's a financial issue? Like, if we're spending money on people come here seeking asylum or illegally, that those funds aren't going to people like our own vets?
That's exactly what is happening, Shannon. I mean, it's a matter of priorities in terms of spending, but it's also a matter of priorities in terms of compassion. Where's the compassion for these veterans that really need our support here in America to make sure they get the kind of care that they need?
And Mike, how do we balance this with having borders, having a rule of law so that people can come here and get the protections that they need legitimately? I mean, the New York Times reporting today, 800 are already at Tijuana, and they say thousands are expected to arrive in the next several days. I mean, this is going to be an overwhelming situation.
Well, I have a company that employs hundreds of people. In general, we hire veterans. We provide great quality benefits for veterans. You can do both. You can support veterans and support the rule of law. We have a law that says that you can apply for asylum in this country, and there are constitutional rights around due process. These migrants have them. I think you can do both, and I think that
if they're not yet on U.S. soil, though.
Yeah, if they're not yet on U.S. soil, but they plan to seek asylum under U.S. law, then they have due process rights under U.S. law. And I know a lot of people have been confused about this, but it's a very clear thing. The law, the INA that relates to...
So why wouldn't everybody coming here saying, I'm coming for asylum? I mean, everyone.
Well, because it's an great question. It's an arduous process. The first thing you do is go through a credible fear interview. So you get detained, and then you go through a credible fear interview with an asylum officer. That is an individual who works for the Trump administration. And only when that fear is determined credible, are you eligible for release? There's a lot of rhetoric around this, Shannon, that's not true. People have to understand that these migrants seeking asylum go through a long, arduous process to get it, and we should allow and honor that. We shouldn't change it, and the president shouldn't be changing it with proclamations. It's not constitutional.
Mike, General, good to have you both.
Thank you so much.
Some changes in GOP leadership in the Senate today, the House side as well. Who's climbing up the ladder? We're going to tell you right after this break.
Hi, Susan. Honey.
Yeah?
I respect that, but that cough looks pretty bad. Try this new Robitussin honey.
The real honey you love, plus the powerful cough relief you need.
Mind if I root through your trash?
New Robitussin honey, because it's never just a cough.
How did Arby's finally make the turkey sandwich